And we're back with another scintillating episode of Trashy Divorces. I'm Stacy.
Hey friends, I'm Alicia.
What are we doing this week? Alicia, of the names of the episodes?
This week, our episode, Smells Like Teen Spirit, focuses in on young, teenage Hollywood first-time trashy marriages and divorces.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
kind of. We have a lot woven in through there, but that's where the episode started, and there'll be a special reveal at the end for why I called it that.
Yeah, and we have more sympathetic subjects this week than last week. So
it's a kinder, gentler pod.
Some people had mentioned that maybe we got a little intense last week. So
we may have mentioned we got a little intense last week.
Yeah, well.
But we're here for this week.
I know, much more empathy. This is an empathy podcast this week. It's great.
This week, a little bit of an empathy podcast. I'm bringing you the story of Drew Barrymore the back end of...
I got Britney Spears.
It's Britney, bitch. Let's do this. Trashy Divorces. Go.
Go. Hey, Alicia.
Hey, Stacy.
So I got a little hot around the collar last week.
Yeah,
with our Newton Leroy Gingrich story.
I may have not contributed to your level of calmness.
I mean, there's a lot to feel there.
I think this week we're tending toward a kinder, gentler podcast, taking it down a notch.
Yeah, I brought mine down a bit, but it's still fun because it's Britney Spears, y'all. Oops, we did it again. No, that was a title for a whole other episode.
No, this is Trashy
Slightly
Teen Marriage
confusing.
Week. Let's do this.
Okay.
Go. I'm ready.
So Britney did not get married as a teen, but as a teen, her life took this weird detour that I think ultimately led to this super public meltdown that happened to her. So basically, Britney Spears was born in rural Mississippi and grew up in Mississippi and Louisiana.
Okay,
right?
Mississippi girl.
Yeah, Mississippi girl. So she, early on, was into singing and dancing. She made her stage debut at 5 when she serenaded her kindergarten graduation.
Wow.
Even in the Deep South, we do that. So
that is true.
She's a talented gymnast, won a bunch of competitions, won a bunch of talent shows as a kid. Her parents were
so she's got it.
Yeah, she's got it.
She's got the voice. She's got the...
Yep.
At least for Mississippi. Well, I don't know how tough the I mean, maybe I don't know. Go ahead.
So, yeah. So her parents got that she was something special, right? That she was different.
Talented.
So when she was 8 or 9, her mom moved to New York City with her.
Oh.
So that she could attend the Professional Performing Arts School.
The greatest city in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, so she started doing television commercials. She was on Star Search,
her parents are definitely investing in her.
Yes, ground floor entertainment industry. I think her siblings also ended up in entertainment somehow, but I didn't research them.
Okay.
So I don't know.
She has a sister, Jamie Spears, I think.
Yes, and a brother who's a film actor? I don't know.
Okay.
We're just guessing here. There are people in America named Spears, and we assume they're all related. Okay, so in December of 92, when young Britney was a mere 11 years old, she was cast in the Mickey Mouse Club revival that Disney was bringing back.
What?
And I am not shitting you. She joined what turned out to be one of the most elite groups of performers that has ever been assembled anywhere.
So the Mickey Mouse Club. They're bringing back the Annette Funicello Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, skits and singing and dance. I don't know. I never watched it. I was too old for that at that point. But in any case, she is suddenly castmates with just listen to this. I was blown away. I had no idea that it was this hothouse of this because Disney knows what the fuck it's doing.
Disney does know what the fuck it's doing.
So her castmates were, little baby Christina Aguilera.
What?
Justin Timberlake. I knew about him. Right. Ryan Gosling.
Really?
Seriously. He of the many Hey Girl memes. And Carrie Russell from The Americans.
Were you in the Mickey Mouse Club? Hold on. Sorry. I needed to react to Ryan Gosling first.
Oh, sorry.
I love Carrie Russell. She's awesome.
She's amazing. Yeah. So little didn't know. There were plenty
talent
There were
powerhouse.
plenty of others too. Like it is like looking at the
Crazy.
pictures. It is like a who's who of faces.
That's an interesting Disney school lot experience.
Very much,
right?
Oh, my story just fell over. Very much. So I had no idea that like all these like superstars were child actors together.
I had no idea.
And we will put cute, teeny tiny Ryan Gosling pictures when he was a Gosling.
Hey, girl.
Is that?
Do you remember when
Geese
I had
and Goslings?
Geese and Goslings.
Oh my God. We'll put this stuff on trashydivorces.com and we'll send it out on social because let's face it.
He's little and cute.
He's little and cute.
Aww.
They all were. So, yes, our hero Britney, young 11-year-old Britney, is like,
thrust into the limelight,
shoved into this hothouse of talent as just a wee little ass. And as all good things must, it came to an end.
Oh.
In 1996, the show was canceled. She heads back to Mississippi, tries to resume her normal life.
After being a star. How does that work?
She was bored. She goes back to school. She's surrounded by teenagers. She, I guess, played basketball in the school. She was bored. Bored out of her mind in Mississippi. She gets some funding, records a demo, and heads to New York with a family friend who's a lawyer, and pitches herself to a bunch of record labels.
Nice. She's got some gumption.
One of them calls. Jive Records calls. And they ended up signing her to an 8-record deal. They sent her off to Stockholm, Sweden, and she spent 2 months in the studio at the age of 16.
Yeah, I was about to say, how old is she? 16.
16 years old, recording Baby One More Time. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you know something about the songwriter, you were telling me.
Because as you were telling me you were doing the story and we talked about the song, Max Martin is like the most famous songwriter you've never heard of that wrote that song and whatever. He's the third most successful songwriter right behind Lennon and McCartney, respectively.
And he's Swedish.
And he's Swedish, which apparently has a fantastic educational system for music.
Oh, interesting.
In their elementary school program. So like the land of ABBA, he doesn't know a whole lot about R&B, but manages to manifest the sound for Britney. Max Martin. Like maybe people who are into the... This was brand new information to me.
Right, me too, yeah.
It was on a good episode of The Hit Parade about Britney Spears that was on, I don't know, a few months ago. It was fascinating. Goes to Sweden at 16. What's that like?
Goes to Sweden at 16. I mean, I'm sure it was chilly. It was March and April, so it was probably cold, a little dark. Anyway, the album is released in January of 1999.
Okay.
And to say that it was a monster hit does not begin to do it justice.
Out of control. It was everywhere.
It was everywhere. Debuted at number 1. It was certified double platinum after a month.
Holy cats.
It hit number 1 on the charts in 15 countries around the world. It sold 10 million copies in its first year and was the best-selling album ever. From a teenage artist.
An immense amount of fame all at once.
To date, it has sold 32 million copies worldwide.
What?
And is the best-selling debut album that has ever been recorded.
Fuck.
Yes. So, obviously, Britney Spears' life changed
I knew
really
it was everywhere.
drastically.
I didn't have...
Everywhere.
Wow.
So
she's a star.
Yes. The record was followed by a big tour. Then Oops, I Did It Again was released in 2000. It was another number 1 debut.
Also a Max Martin song.
Yeah. Another, there you go. Another massive tour. That one grossed $40.5 million.
What?
This is a kid.
What does this do to a kid from Mississippi?
This is a kid. Yeah. She got a Plum performance spot at the Video Music Awards on MTV that year. And she started dating Justin Timberlake, who was like, also,
do you think they missed each other from their mouse ear days?
I don't know, because I think he's a couple years older, and she was 11, so I don't know that they even, I'm not sure. I don't know that they really
As a married middle-aged
connected.
lesbian, I probably like JT a little more than I should. I love him. He's just charming AF.
He's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I digress. JT. I mean, can you imagine that? Is that like her first boyfriend? It
was like a made for her. See, Britney stopped being a person in a lot of ways.
Around that time.
Britney was a brand and a commodity and an industry, and like she's like 17 and she's signing multi-million-dollar promotional, like it was crazy. Or I assume it must have been crazy. So in 2002, when she was all of 20 years old,
wow, Forbes
ranked her the world's most powerful celebrity.
You're joking.
Like, what is wrong?
You're 20. You can't.
What is wrong with us as a culture?
Rent a car yet?
Exactly. Not long after this, in 2002, the 3-year-long relationship with Justin Timberlake ends.
And we all cried.
We kind of did. They seemed like they were just gonna be pop royalty.
And it wasn't like a team anybody on that. It was just sad when it happened. I don't know why they broke up, but I don't recall it being like
rumors. Well,
oh, you got the rumor. Tell me.
There's good reason rumors were she was cheating.
Oh,
we'll come back.
Okay,
put a pin in that, as you like to say.
Done.
So her career at this point was becoming much more expansive, and she was sort of moving towards a more adult persona. Okay. And I think she was struggling with what that was going to look like and what...
Well, she's the most powerful celebrity in the world. That's a lot of pressure.
Madonna.
Oh, hell.
So at the 2003 Video Music Awards, there was a racy performance with Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera covering Like a Virgin. And Madonna appears on stage midway through.
Oh, no.
And it is this weird... I mean, it's typical Madonna. It's what Madonna would do with male backup dancers.
Sure.
Sort of feeling them up, like physically objectifying them. But she does this with these two young women, and then she kisses each of them.
And this was a scandal.
It was a scandal, and somewhat notoriously, Madonna kisses Britney Spears, and then turns to kiss Christina Aguilera, and the camera cuts away to Justin Timberlake, Britney's ex-boyfriend.
Oh no! And
so, the kiss with Christina Aguilera was not broadcast.
Oh, but in real time, it's Britney.
Right.
Oh.
So, anyway, apparently Christina Aguilera felt a little left out because it was like a big moment. And then...
What about me, man?
Anyway, it was weird.
I'm sorry, what year was this? Because I was entirely doing other things, like in my mid-20s, but I remember hearing the...
Yeah, this was 03.
Milieu about this.
It was probably fall of 03.
Okay. Yeah, wow.
So... Yeah, weirdly, Madonna sexualized a thing and made a lot of people uncomfortable, and other people really titillated. So, crazy. That's kind of what she does.
Welcome to Madonna.
Welcome to Madonna. Yes. This brings us to the infamous Britney's meltdown period of her life.
Oh, so the meltdown happened before the marriage.
It all rolls together.
Oh, gotta get ahead of myself again. Okay.
Because it seems like the marriage is plural. Were part of the meltdown. So
meltdown begin.
At the start of 04, she calls a childhood friend named Jason Alexander and is like, hey, I'm going to Vegas for New Year's. Do you want to come? And he's like, totally.
Sure. There's nothing to do in Mississippi.
Turns out they'd been friends with benefits, including while she was dating Justin Timberlake.
Oh.
So he hops on a plane, heads out to...
Have we mentioned Mississippi? There's not a lot to do.
I mean, it's true. Heads out to Vegas, and she's like, hey... Let's get married.
Sure.
Which is what he says.
It's a great idea.
I read an interview with him from well after this happened, and he was like, look, I was in love with her, and I thought she was in love with me. And
yeah, why not?
Like, so
We're
off
in
we
Vegas,
go.
We're flying high on teenage hormones.
And drugs.
Oh, and drugs.
And probably booze.
Teenage hormones and drugs.
Yeah.
Done. That is a lethal combination.
So off to the little white wedding chapel they go. And poof, they're married. And there's a picture of, it was a mess. I mean, this is like, again, you've got this like massive celebrity whose life kind of got snatched and who I think at this point just didn't even understand herself.
She's trying to feel something.
Human. She's trying to
feel something.
Yeah, and to have something of her own that like the rest of the world
can't. No, I get that.
Yeah. So you can imagine what happened when Britney calls her family the next day and her business manager and, hey guys, guess what? Okay, well, what is, holy shit, Britney, you bring in tens of millions of dollars of revenue a year and you didn't sign a prenup. Holy shit.
Oh.
So they go to court immediately, like her family.
So it's not, we are concerned for your happiness and feel like you've made a rash decision not fully being an adult. It is your cash.
It is your cash. That's
telling.
They arrange an instantaneous court hearing and they ask for an annulment by saying that Britney lacked understanding of her actions to the extent that she was incapable of agreeing to the marriage.
Oh, God.
Which is grounds for annulment, I mean, legally. But so anyway, so her first marriage, which, because it was annulled, was never technically legal anyway, it was nullified, lasted a whopping 55 hours.
Wow. So 2 days...
Yeah, a couple of days. Jason...
2 days, 8 hours?
Jason signed the papers because he's a nice guy. But he thought they'd get back together. Like, this really went badly for him.
Aww.
Yeah,
I don't think he took half of her fortune, though.
He did not. I think he did get a payout at some point, though.
Okay.
But he also... It's the interview I read, and we'll put it on the website. He says his big takeaway was, like, don't be the nice guy. Like, if you're going to date a celebrity, you need to think business, and you need to...
Because it's Planet Hollywood, man. It's a different world.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was no longer living in the same world he was.
That's exactly right.
So, like, pretty clearly at this point in her life, she is looking for something uniquely her own.
Sure.
Because her life got stolen from her. I mean, her own... Like... You know, fame is just, I assume, a weird thing. And she was really young when it happened. So she had been this, like, major...
She's mega.
Globally known, superstar for 4 or 5 years. And she was all of 22. Jesus. I mean, it just, yeah.
It's a lot.
And, you know, most people, 22, 23, I don't know about most, but, like, a lot of people go to college where they are in sort of a safe cocoon with other, like, 18 to 22-year-olds.
Where everybody's kind of trying to figure it out.
And they can do the sex and the drugs and the drinking and and all of that stuff in a peer group of people like themselves.
Without the glare of the paparazzi your...
Yeah. Instead,
Yeah.
Britney Spears did not have that experience. She spent those years in this like super pressurized environment. She was surrounded by business managers and musicians and dancers and reporters and fans and record label
she's
people.
Recording. She's on tour. She's
and hangers on and people with like lots of drugs to share with the famous chicks. So not long after the Jason Alexander debacle, she meets dancer Kevin Federline.
Dun dun dun.
K-Fed.
K-Fed
was a high school dropout who'd managed to work his way into backup dancer roles for people like Michael Jackson and Justin Timberlake.
Is it bad that all right now I can think about is Jason Mendoza from The Good Place? I'm sorry, that's what flashed in my head.
My God.
Blake Bortles, yo.
Okay, that's... Okay,
I'm sorry.
Let's go with it. No, that's probably about...
Totally off track, but as you're describing this?
That's great. Jason Mendoza.
He's the Jason Mendoza of Britney Spears' life.
So anyway, like he had become quite successful in his industry, although one article that I read said that he was known as Meat Pole by his colleagues.
Jason Mendoza.
I don't know why.
I have a pretty good idea why you get a name like Meat Pole, but go ahead.
All right, so
we digress.
All right, so he had been engaged to actress Shar Jackson, with whom he had one child. And when she was pregnant with his second child, they broke up, and he began dating Britney Spears.
Okay. Cool.
Not a good look. He and Britney announced their engagement after 3 months of dating in July of 2004, which was the same month that his son with Shar Jackson was born.
Ooh.
So this sort of similar to Bethany Frankel's story. Like, the gender roles get a little inverted here. K-Fed was roundly mocked in the press as a gold digger and just kind of a lightweight who'd managed to land somebody like way out of his league. But also, like, they were really happy. I mean, they were both drugged out and stuff, but very happy.
I mean, drugs, you forget a lot of your problems.
There you go. So they married in a surprise ceremony in September. They could not file their marriage paperwork with the state until October because they had not finalized their prenup yet. I cannot even imagine what it was to be the business manager for Britney Spears at this point in her life. The marriage lasted just a couple of years, but it did produce 2 sons, Sean Preston and Jaden James.
So she gets kids that
she gets kids, which and that does seem to have eventually, yes, they are central to her life now, and they get
eventually.
Yeah,
I caught a word there.
Being married did not fix whatever Britney was working through.
Life tip: it never does.
In February 2006, she was photographed holding 5-month-old baby Sean on her lap while she drove her car.
Oh, good.
One hand on baby, one hand on wheel, and no car seat.
Okay.
Minor scandal there.
Minor scandal. There's a pun in that. Get that?
In November 2006, Britney files for divorce.
Okay.
And she texts K-Fed to let him know that's happening. He
was
blindsided. He did not
over
know.
Text?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of
Dear
there's
husband.
Post-it note breakups, there's
I know,
email
we're
breakups,
covering all
but a divorce text?
Yeah. Dear husband, we're over.
I think that beats Bethany's letter on the...
I think it does, yeah.
Wow, okay. Yeah. That so far takes the trashiest notification of divorce.
Yeah. So they got pretty... it was a surprise to him. She was in whatever...
Well, yeah, he's just sitting having his burrito at the local Mexican place, and he gets a text like, what?
Yeah. So in particular, they were fighting over child custody of their 2 sons.
Sure.
And that, it's not that unusual for custody to be the flare-up.
Yeah, but you're driving with your kid in your lap.
Oh, and it gets worse. In February, so the divorce was filed in November. So in February 2007, Britney flies to Antigua.
Oh, good.
Which sounds lovely.
Nice vacation spot.
And checks herself into Eric Clapton's drug treatment facility there.
Oh, good for her. Okay, realizing maybe she needs some help.
Right. It's called Crossroads.
Okay, nice.
She's there for less than a day.
Oh.
Before she...
I need help, but I'm not going to stay around to get it.
Before she is out of there and on a plane back to California.
Okay.
The next night, she walks into a Los Angeles, hair salon, grabs a pair of electric shears, and shaves her own head. And there are pictures of this happening. The press was outside, I guess.
This is how that happened?
This is how that happened. She is in the Caribbean for drug treatment one day, bails on that, hops a plane back. And there was a lot of speculation about, what...
Why would you do that?
Yeah, is she just in this crazy rebellious phase? What's going on? Is she trying to make it difficult to do drug testing via hair? I'm
going with that theory. You get to drug rehab, they want to find out what you've really been on because you're an addict and you're not going to tell the truth because that's what they're dealing with.
Possibly.
So I don't know about this particular aspect of rehabilitation treatments, but I would assume, they're probably going to take a follicle of your hair. Imagine Britney in the fucking limelight.
I think the idea...
if this gets out in the press, I'm toast.
No, I think the idea was that K-Fed's lawyers would ask for that. Yeah. I think that was... Anyway, but she's never copped to that as far as I know, but...
Sure.
But it was... Yeah, there was a lot of... It was bizarre behavior. And so,
especially with 100 cameras on your heels as you're walking down
every second
Sunset
of your
Boulevard.
life.
Yeah. Okay.
So this was everywhere. I'm not a big TV watcher, but
no, you saw the pics.
You couldn't go to a grocery store. You couldn't it was all over the internet. It was just everywhere. It was crazy town. All right. So a few days later. Things are not getting better.
It gets worse.
Oh, it keeps getting worse for a while. A few days later, she was photographed attacking a reporter's car with an umbrella, shaved head, angry, bald Britney.
No, it's a scary pic.
The reporter kept the umbrella, and 10 years later, he sort of, I don't know if he was joking or not, but he said he was going to auction it off one day and give the proceeds to a charity of Britney's choosing.
Oh, nice.
Kind of funny. So, yeah, I thought just the idea that I guess she just beat the crap out of the car and threw the umbrella at it and then sped away in her car or something. And so the reporter's
drops
like,
umbrella.
Free umbrella. Look at me. I don't know.
Bonus.
In September of 2007, she had a disastrous performance at the Video Music Awards, which prompted the incredibly famous "Leave Britney Alone" YouTube video that was like also everywhere for...
Seriously, leave Britney alone. Like, let her just...
We're not leaving Britney alone.
Figure out her...
Totally not leaving Britney alone. In October 2007, it just keeps getting worse. She lost custody of her kids because of, quote, her habitual, frequent, and continuous use of controlled substances and alcohol.
Not good.
She was allowed only supervised visitation.
Okay.
3 months later, when it was time to hand the kids back over to K-Fed's people, she locked herself in a room and wouldn't. Police were called.
Well, that's not the way to show healthy adult behavior.
No. And the police transported her to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center.
Oh, no.
She ended up committed to the psych ward at UCLA under an involuntary psychiatric hold in California, known as a 5150 for all you Van Halen fans out there.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Okay.
So, involuntary psychiatric hold. I think she was there for 5 days. K-Fed, I mean, you really gotta kind of give him some credit here. He had an emergency court hearing the next day and got full custody of the kids.
Sure.
Like
give her time to take care of whatever she needs to take care of.
Yeah, don't know what's going on there, but I need my kids to be safe.
Sure.
So that works. I mean, I'm sure it was awful. I'm sure it was awful for everyone, about like her family, to like just everyone. Separately, her father, James, and her attorney, Andrew Wallet, went to court to address the involuntary psychiatric hold, and the judge created what is called a conservatorship. Basically, her father...
What you do for kids.
It's what you do for
yeah.
people who can't manage their own affairs.
Wow.
So her father and this lawyer were temporarily at the time made basically guardians. So they control all of her spending, all of her
contracts, money coming in, money going out.
Yeah, she is legally incompetent in the eyes of the state of California. And
really?
So her affairs are managed by her father and this lawyer.
Okay.
It was not a temporary thing.
Like still to this day?
To this day, Britney Spears.
How old? She was born in what year?
End of 81. She's 38, 37, 38 now.
Wow. Okay, so maybe she got admitted and got treated and they diagnosed her with something that...
Yeah, it seems like, because it's like this gets reviewed by the courts every so often.
Sure.
And there is an undisclosed medical issue, which...
Interesting.
You assume, I guess, is a mental health issue because she dances and stuff. I mean, she's...
Yeah.
She seems physically healthy. Anyway, it could also be addiction. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's sort of sucky to speculate about that for people. But K-Fed, to his credit, has maintained a relationship with her family.
Good.
I don't think he's the most popular person in the world. But to their credit, they've also, like, when he's out of town and it's his time with the kids, her family goes and babysits them or whatever,
okay.
right? Like there's a lot of co-parenting happening,
which is good,
which is very good. Britney, kind of had hit rock bottom there, and she gradually worked to get herself healthy, whatever that meant.
Sure.
And in 2008, she started gradually gaining back more parental rights.
Oh, okay, good.
And, got her career back on track, stopped hitting things with umbrellas, presumably. Grew her hair out.
Free umbrella.
She, has been doing licensing and branding deals. And she's a massively successful recording artist and performer to this day.
Okay.
Sad note.
Oh, no.
Her dad, who is 65, is in quite poor health right now. And so just this month in January, she announced that she's taking an indefinite hiatus from work to be with her family. So
I think that's probably a great idea.
That might be very bad. Of the epic meltdown period of her life, she told an Israeli paper in 2017, "I think I had to give myself more breaks through my career and take responsibility for my mental health. There were many decisions that were made for me and that I didn't make myself. My life was controlled by too many people, and that doesn't really let you be yourself. I wrote back then that I was lost and I didn't know what to do with myself. I was trying to please everyone around me because that's who I am deep inside. There are moments where I look back and think, what the hell was I thinking?" So, I mean, I don't know.
She owns it.
Yeah, she seems
that really
solid.
is little girl lost.
Kind of. And like, again, I just don't know what would happen if at the age of 17, like your face is known by every inhabitant of the planet Earth. Yeah.
So Little Girl Lost is the autobiography of who I'm talking about today, but it really applies to
there's Britney. I think there's a little
crossover.
I can see how our subjects would have a bit in common. So on the trash can scale, on the trash canometer, this one's tough. Like,
yeah,
the bizarro pressure cooker life. I mean, she was just too young. Like, I remember reading Huey Lewis of Huey Lewis in the News.
Sure.
He said, like, his band, they were all in their 30s when they started having hit songs. And he was like, that made it so, like, this is why you don't hear about us, like, in rehab and, like,
we were a little
screwing up our lives. Like, we were old enough to understand that, you know, we'd lucked into this. Mm-hmm. And
this is an opportunity and let's not.
Right. So yeah, she was just too young. Like, most of these people were probably too young. So she kind of crashes into her early mid-20s and just has no idea how to be. So also the fact that she and K-Fed seem to have gotten their lives together and been good parents in the end sort of mitigates some of the in the moment trashy. So this one gets there's a time travel element to how I'm going to score this one.
Okay.
In 2008, this was 5 trash cans.
Oh.
Right. Like, no doubt.
Sure.
I mean, the umbrella thing alone. Just one.
Yeah.
The texting, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. However, given the hindsight, given the vantage point of yours,
extenuating circumstances.
Time passed.
I
feel like it goes to 3.
Okay.
I mean, it was
That's
trashy.
Fair. It was trashy at the time. It was headline news trashy at the time.
It seriously was headline news trashy at the time.
That.
But yeah, like, you know, time travel trash cans. It's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. Except control our pets.
Oh my gosh. Well done by you.
Thanks.
Horrible job by the pets. Let's take a break and see if we can distract. And I'm coming back with
Who you got?
Everybody's favorite, Drew Barrymore.
Yay!
Everybody's favorite.
She's pretty great.
Hi, I'm Emily Higgins and I host Tasteless.
We are watching a topless woman with a very long ponytail do a spin kick of this guy.
Tasteless is a movie podcast that pays tribute to the films no one else wants to talk about.
You're not going in for an ambitious track through one person's psyche. That's not what you're Crossroads for. That's not what you're at Tasteless for.
In each episode, I take a highly regarded film and compare it to a less beloved movie I recommend instead.
She crawled out of the plants, and maybe the snakes had chewed off half her clothes because now she has a crop top.
Visit tastelesspod.com for more details and to find all the places you can listen.
And we're back.
We are back for the story I'm excited to tell.
I like that these are villain-free in a lot of ways.
I do like they're villain-free.
Yeah.
We are not anybody's moral judge. We just like to tell each other really good stories. This is not morality police that we're playing.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe with Rudy Giuliani and Newt Gingrich, we did play morality police a little, but
it's the hypocrisy.
Right?
It's not that, look, marriages break up. It's sad, but it happens. Like,
we have 2 really non-hypocritical stories this week.
Yeah.
These are really just really good stories.
I think so.
Okay. You ready for mine?
I can't wait to hear yours. I do love your subject.
I love my subject too. Mm-hmm. And Drew Barrymore.
Who doesn't love Drew Barrymore?
Who doesn't love Drew Barrymore?
And like, does she age?
No, she does not.
Okay.
No,
like,
she's fantastic.
It's whenever I see pictures of her, I'm like, that's got to be 15 years old. But no she's just gorgeous.
She really.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore.
Uh-huh.
Drew Blythe Barrymore.
Firestarter.
Wait on it. That's at the Firestarter premieres when she had her first drink when she was 9 years old.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you didn't even know that was coming.
I didn't.
I have gone down the rabbit hole on this one. Okay. American actress, producer, director, author, model, entrepreneur. Drew Blythe Barrymore was born on February 22nd, 1975. She's an Aquarius. 2 is my favorite number, and as I'm looking at her February 22nd, 1975 added up is actually 22. Her numerology number is not 2, but all of the components of her birth date break down into 2222. Remarkable.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, hey, okay. What does that mean, Alicia?
In numerology, the number 2 is the most feminine of all the numbers.
Oh, interesting.
It's also the most underestimated when it comes to power and strength. 2 is gentle, tactful, diplomatic, forgiving, understanding, likes to keep the peace, avoids confrontations. Apropos to nothing, Drew Barrymore's life path number is really a 1, which is one of leadership and trailblazing. Strong sense of independence, not relying on other people, especially if they hold you back. And that is what Drew's BFF, Nancy Genevan, says about Drew, is that she always bounces back. She gets back on the horse. She's got it, whatever it is, and just a remarkable sense of resilience.
I mean, she would have, just from what I know about her childhood, she would have to.
So let me tell you about it.
Okay.
She is from this just, world-class dysfunctional family.
Oh, yeah.
And she turns this dysfunctional family saga into her own version of success and happiness. When I first started this, I kind of thought about her in parallel to Charlie Sheen. Like a family of actors. You've got a lot of advantages working towards you. The more I went into my research to tell my narrative, it ended up somewhere different, but that's where I started this. Okay. Drew Barrymore, I'm all here for this story, is a member of the famous Barrymore family. To sum it up, like, her paternal grandparents and great-grandparents are actors. Her great-great-grandparents are actors. All of her great aunts and uncles are actors, like famous actors. They're the Drews, the Barrymores. John, her grandfather, John Barrymore, is arguably the most acclaimed actor of his generation. He is a trashy divorce all on his own that I put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Booze, drugs. He's got a number of divorces. His career, I mean, the most talented actor of a generation, his career slips because of his addiction. He drinks himself to death with 60 cents to his name.
Oh, geez.
His son.
So she comes by that naturally. All right.
I mean, the Barrymore family is sort of known for their
acting and their addictions.
Yeah. Well, their excessiveness, imbibement of the substances. So her father, John Barrymore Jr., makes his acting claims starring in Westerns, kind of the 60s. But like his dad, he's a battler of the bottle. In 1972, when he is 43, he meets 26-year-old Jade. Jade is managing the Troubadour right now in LA. So he's sort of hanging out on that fringe singer-songwriter thing. She works at the Troubadour.
Sure.
Her background, she was born in a displaced persons camp in Brandenburg, West Germany, for World War II refugees from Hungary.
Wow.
So here's her upbringing. Gets to California. She's managing the Comedy Store in the Troubadour in LA. 26, meets John Barrymore. Bowled over by his, he's kind of ruggedly falling down the path of good looking at that point. But anyway,
okay.
They get married. It's a pretty bad marriage from the beginning, but she gets pregnant. And John sort of fizzles out. But hey, we've got the famous Barrymore last name, not a drop of money. She's managing Comedy Store Troubadour. She's got a young infant, and she's trying to break into acting all on her own. There is a lot going on.
Yeah.
That stated, Jade is the original momager. She takes Drew at 11 months old to her first audition. 11 months old.
Wow. Wow.
Takes Drew to a puppy chow audition for a commercial. So here's little Drew, 11 months old, and they have a little cute puppy. The puppy bites her on the nose. So every adult in the room is like, oh my God, lawsuit. Drew laughs. And they're like, you got the gig.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay.
So
loves dogs.
loves dogs. Drew starts working at 11 months old. Her mom is taking her to commercial auditions. Her mom is working her own auditions, working her gigs. Her mom tries to get her, like, you got it by 3. Her mom is having this conversation with her, like, we really need to stop this. And Drew's like, no, I want to act. This is what I want to do. So before she even realizes she's from a famous family.
At 3, she was having fun and wanted to keep going.
This is her, right? She gets attention and it's fun. And, I mean, Jade, right, seems a little scattered. So she actually auditions for the kid in the Poltergeist.
Right. I was wondering.
Movie.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that was her or not. So she
it
did
was
not
not
get
her,
okay.
But she auditioned for that, and Steven Spielberg sees her.
Oh, right.
And it's like, I've got the part for you.
Yeah,
this
it's
isn't
not
it. Hires her to be Gertie in E.T.
Yeah.
She's 6. For as many problems as there are maybe within the movie E.T., it is universally loved. And I would make the case that most of the love of E.T. is just about sweet baby Drew. I
have not seen E.T. since I was a child, so I don't even know. But
she wins America's heart. She goes on the Tonight Show, Good Morning America. She's adorable and charming and wonderful, and the country falls in love with her. In 1982, she is the youngest host ever of Saturday Night Live.
How old?
7.
Oh God.
Maybe 8, like depending on where it.
Okay,
I think she's probably
7 or
8, but yeah,
she's younger than 10. Okay. Yikes.
So she's schooled mostly growing up on sets, but when she's not on set, she has to go back to like elementary school for a few weeks at a time. She's made fun of. She again continues to work, lands a role in Irreconcilable Differences.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
I do.
About the kid who sues for emancipation from her parents.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. So.
Takes a note.
Takes a note. So John Jr., the dad, who's been doing nothing helpful, he's been out of their lives forever, comes back to kind of mock her success. At this point, when she's 9, her parents do get divorced. But she's never really a kid. She's an actor. She's a star. But she doesn't know how to be a kid. Getting a lot of attention. Jade, because Drew is sort of the cachet for the nightlife I like to boogie, Jade takes Drew everywhere. So she's keeping her out till all hours of the night and is kind of running a very adult lifestyle with this kid in tow. Like, this is what we're doing now.
Because the kid gets seated at the good tables and all of that garbage.
That's exactly right.
Ugh.
And Drew, like, kids watch everything, and that'll come back again. Like, but this is what we're doing now, and you don't know that's any different.
Right.
You have been a star from when you were little. You're hanging out at the fucking Limelight, Studio 54, Helena's.
I'm
and
shaking
you're
my head hard.
9.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
I've written in my notes, not a lot of boundaries.
Yeah.
I think that's an
yeah.
underestimation. So at 9, she's at the premiere for Firestarter. She begins drinking. She's always at Hollywood parties, right? So first it started out like, oh, I dare you to drink it. But she doesn't really, she's scared about the way it makes her feel. But hey, welcome to alcohol. It makes you forget about your problems for a little while.
Yeah.
So generations of Barrymores before her are pretty keen on the drink.
Sure.
And she's coming into her
Learned it by
family
watching
legacy,
you.
her family tradition at a very early age. So drugs for her started at 10 or 11. She's hanging out right in nightclubs with a much older crowd.
Sure.
People around her were doing it. She's doing it too. At 12, she sort of started the awkward transition into, she developed a little early. Jobs are drying up. She's not a kid anymore, but she's not an adult. And she's in that awkward, God, if you look good in middle school, I hate whatever the rest of your life is like, because you just should be awkward. She has really got a problem with drugs and alcohol at this point that her mom is completely ignoring, to the point where she lets Drew, oh God, in 1987 becomes a spokeskid for Nancy Reagan's Just Say No campaign.
Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa, what a weird.
Yep.
Wow.
No, you should see Drew Barrymore, like, she's an actress, standing up at the White House, like, doing her speech about its peer pressure and all kids, and, which is all true, but it's quite her performance. Right. She's back in New York City for an acting gig, and it is party time. She's at all of her favorite pubs, hanging out at the 54 in the Limelight. None of this is appropriate for a child.
No, agreed.
At 13, she goes to rehab. Stays in rehab, takes a stint there, gets sober for a little while, ends up back in rehab, relapses, and when she relapses, she kind of rages. Like, I've blown it, so let me go ahead and just have the party I want to have.
Right.
Ends up, after one of the relapses, stealing money from her mom and her mom's credit cards, flies to L.A. Mom is like, nope, weird. So back she goes for a number of months into rehab. After that stint, which seemed to take, instead of going back to live with her mom, here's something I didn't know, she goes to live with David Crosby and his wife. David Crosby of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. David Crosby of just great songwriter David Crosby.
I think I had read that
If I
somewhere.
had heard it, like, I'd forgotten it.
Yeah.
So she goes and hangs out with them in a very supportive, sober environment and learns, like, whoa, this is, like, kind of cool. At this point, things really do end with her and her mom. She tries to go back to her. It's bad. As she's going into her freshman year in high school, she's like, all right, I'm going to rent my own apartment. She gets a job in a coffee house, gets a car so she can go to auditions. She's 14. She's 15. In an interview at 15, we'll link to it. Like, she sounds really solid. Like, you can tell listening to her, she's been through a lot of the program.
Right.
She's been in a sober place. She lands a role in the CBS School Break special called 15 and Getting Straight. That's actually filmed at the same rehab center where she was.
Oh, that's
right.
Convenient.
So she's starting to work again. By January of 1991, remember Reconcilable Differences?
Yeah.
She goes ahead and files in juvenile court to be emancipated. She's whatever. Like, I'm done. I've got this. I can do this on my own. I've been doing it on my own since you haven't been a whole lot of help.
Right. That is how it sounds. Yeah.
So, as soon as she emancipates herself, really, at 15, she drops out of high school and she decides to act full-time, which is tough because she's a risk. Hollywood's like,
it's a good point. Yeah, you have to ensure big productions, and
lands, like, her big breakout is Poison Ivy in 1991, which is kind of an indie film, but she's there. She's doing it every day. She gets the movie of Gun Crazy, which... Right, she does the Amy Fisher story for ABC, which was the highest rated one of all the.
We'll have more to say on that at a later date.
Anyway, so she's 16, starts dating Leland Hayward, gets engaged, breaks up. She's working. She's proven herself to Hollywood, dating around, starts dating Jamie Walters. They end up breaking up in November of 1993, and what I'm assuming was not a great breakup. She starts hanging out at a bar called The Room. She's there hanging out with, all of her older friends. She talks in this earlier interview about being dry sober. Like, you don't want life to dry you out, but, like, how do you participate as a sober person in the minute you've got?
Right.
So she's hanging out at The Room. There's a picture that I found with she and Courtney Love hanging out. Like, she's running in a pretty starlit circle.
Yeah.
The bar happens to be owned by a 31-year-old sexy Welshman named Jeremy Thomas.
Like he's got the accent, that kind of Welshman, because
That
it's
kind
a
of
it's a good accent.
Yeah.
It's a good
and
accent.
She's 19, and his,
yeah,
never really had a father figure. And I get the Welshman thing,
sure,
right? Like,
sure.
He's pretty cute, and they end up marrying on March 20th, 1994. So this is 4 months after the breakup with Jamie Walters.
I was gonna. Okay, so 3 months in or so, yeah.
Boom.
All
Okay,
right.
so let me tell you how it happens. Like, they're sitting around in the wee hours of the morning, and someone jokes, like, she should marry him because they're so much in love. Because it's 4 a.m. and you're fucked up and drunk. Like, nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Also, was she drinking again? Like,
I don't think so.
He's a bar owner. That seems a weird fit for...
It's a weird fit. I was not able to ascertain that piece of information within my research.
Okay.
Maybe, because you said, yes, this is a good idea. I have a feeling there's probably a few more, but they call a 24-hour minister, because I guess you can do that in California. They chalked up the extra $20 for him to show up on short notice. She wears a white silk slip dress and combat boots, and their maid of honor is a pit bull. So
not Pitbull, the recording artist, but a pit bull.
Actual I was not able to find the name of the dog,
Oh,
but a pit bull dog.
okay.
They exchanged their vows on the roof of the roof of the room. And the next day, she has to leave because she's about to start filming Boys on the Side.
Love the movie.
She says, I realized my mistake on the day I married him.
Oh, God, that's the worst.
So maybe there was some drinking involved in this rash decision. They talk every day, and he comes to visit. He thinks it's fine. They planned a honeymoon in Hawaii. So she's out in the desert filming Boys on the Side with Whoopi Goldberg, Mary Louise Parker.
Yeah.
In a very pro-feminist. Indigo Girls are in that movie.
Yeah, they
There's
are.
a lot of lesbians in that movie.
Yep.
She finishes filming and leaves for Hawaii on the honeymoon without him.
Oh.
I want to go to Hawaii.
Sure. I just
not
don't
with you.
need that guy with me. Okay.
Cool.
I mean...
So she, needless to say, divorce papers follow.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's... I honestly, if I had known that might have tempered my enthusiasm about her. That's cold. That is some cold. That's cold.
Her claim is that he married her for a green card and her money. He says, I married her because she was cute. Like, it didn't have anything to do with her being Drew Barrymore. However, 19-day marriage, they get divorced after 2 months. He says he was on planet Earth. She was on planet Hollywood. I mean, like Britney, right?
Yeah,
it is a different kind of...
it's just not... You're not tied to...
Yeah, no, it's a
normal world
totally
anymore.
Different kind of thing. So first marriage...
Yeah. In and out.
There's your trashy divorce. I mean, leaving for the honeymoon
man, that's
on your
seriously
own.
Harsh. Whew.
It's pretty good. She dates the whole guitarist Eric Erlandson. Anyway, she dates the whole guitarist. So apparently she and Courtney Love are still friends.
Not half the guitarist. What?
In 1995, Barrymore and her friend who I mentioned before, Nancy Juvenin, formed Flower Films, which goes to produce films like Never Been Kissed, Donnie Darko, 50 First Dates. Nancy is the wife of Jimmy Fallon. She is a Taurus, just like Drew's mom. And Drew really glows about Nancy and actually has some written stuff about her mom being a Taurus and Nancy being a Taurus and that recurrence of that kind of relationship. She loves her wisdom, the influence she's had on her life. They are BFFs forever. Drew dates and marries Tom Green.
Right. I remember this one.
Right. They start dating in 1999. They get married in 2000. They do Charlie's Angels together, which is another Flower film. They Green's directorial debut, Freddie Got Fingered, is another Flower film. Green files for divorce in December 2001. They're divorced in 2002. She dates around, has some long-term relationships. She does say in an interview in 2003 that she had always considered herself bisexual. So there's that. I can kind of see it. The girl's a free spirit on some kind of weird life path. And again, I love it and I'm here for it. She receives a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2004. Let me just let you know she's the 5th member of her family to do so.
Do they just cluster them in one area?
She has a prime location. Her star is right in Grauman's Chinese Theater. It is boom right there.
Sure.
She dates around. She does end up getting married one more time to art consultant Will Koppelman.
Sure.
Who is the son of the former Chanel CEO, Ari Koppelman. They get married in 2012.
And they just, divorced a year or so ago, right?
Yeah, they did. They have 2 kids.
Right.
Apparently appear pretty happy, but not really. Speaking on Ellen, she talks about that she was devastated because, she had settled down, had 2 kids. She wanted to give them the safe environment that she didn't have.
Right.
Maybe not at nightclubs.
Right. Really?
Yeah. So it seems like both families are supporting and they're co-parenting really well.
Right.
So
I think that was my understanding, is that his family was the first time that she felt really embraced.
I can imagine
as a part
family,
of a
yeah, because she didn't really have it, and
right.
She's been emancipated since she was 14.
Yeah, and it sounds like before that, mom wasn't, and dad wasn't even there.
Can you imagine not? I don't want to be like a snotty kid when I say this, but can you imagine at 14 living in your own apartment and not having a parental influence for any part of your high school years? For as much as you may have fucked off in high school and had friends' houses that their parents weren't around,
no.
Done. I have my own apartment. I'm in charge of my own bills.
Right.
At 15, I've dropped out and
I've decided I'm going to work.
Mind blown.
Done with school.
Done. In 2013, during her marriage to Koppelman, she launches a range of cosmetics under the Flower banner. So she's got makeup, perfume, eyewear. She's got wine. She's got a clothing line. Releases another book in addition to Little Girl Lost in 2015 called Wildflower. God, she's so good. So I'm going to begin to bring it all back together. Just a little drop for you. Drew Barrymore's godmothers are the actresses Sophia Loren. So there's an esteemed lineage. And Lee Strasberg's widow, Anna Strasberg. Drew later describes her relationship with Anna Strasberg as it was important to her as a kid because she was so kind and nurturing. Drew has adopted her honorary godfather of Steven Spielberg. So there's some star power. So if you want my hint, into the naming convention for this week's show, Smells Like Teen Spirit. Sure, we did teenage marriages. And Smells Like Teen Spirit works, but another little bit of gossip I picked up. Drew Barrymore is the godmother of Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's daughter, Frances Bean Cobain. So that's how it all...
Gotcha.
Boom,
gotcha.
Coming in hot.
Gotcha. All right.
In conclusion, our life path number 1 girl, Drew Barrymore, is kicking ass, doing her films and her business. She's an example of how to get back up on that horse. She takes a knock, does better on the next go round. I kind of can't wait to see what she's going to do next. Like her grandfather, I think she might be the talent of her generation, but I think she'll do better than 60 cents in her pocket. Her current net worth is $125 million.
Shit.
So I'm feeling pretty confident that she is trailblazing over her family dysfunction and creating a new legacy for the Barrymore name.
I think I'm going to have to go watch 50 First Dates again because that is
so good.
One of my very...
It's so good.
It's perhaps the only Adam Sandler movie that's really worth watching multiple times.
Well, they have starred together in 50 First Dates and blended, but The Wedding Singer was the first time they starred together.
The Wedding Singer was all right,
3
actually.
films. Dude, I have a list of all... she's She's so talented.
She really is. She really is.
Love her. So as trashy divorces go in the trash can barrel loop, I don't know. You decide overnight of drinking to get married. A pit bull is your maid of honor.
It's
rooftop wedding, so you get some points for that. But he does own a bar.
Spur
sexy
of the
Welshman.
the roof of a bar that you've called a priest over to in the middle of the night,
for an extra 20 in his pocket.
Yeah, I'm thinking this could go high.
No, hold on.
Trash can
going on your honeymoon without the husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to do the time travel thing as well.
Oh,
in
cool.
retrospect, it seemed pretty trashy, but I think she's done okay.
Yeah, no,
I don't
she has.
know what the hell Jeremy Thomas is doing, but I'll go ahead and give it a. I don't know if it's Britney worthy. There were no kids. I'm going to go 2.5. 2.5.
Okay. It does seem like her most recent divorce was super chill.
It was super chill. Like she really.
Yeah, I know. She's turned into like a really seemingly deeply good and together person
for a family. Like if you're gonna history may not repeat, but it sure does rhyme.
Right.
So how do you have that? All of those lessons early where you really begin to forge your own path. Did I mention? Hold on. Let me go back to my notes. That she's a life path 1, which is a life of leadership and trailblazing. See, I wrapped it all around in a completely different narrative.
You did.
Anyway.
No, I like 2.5 for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with that.
Yeah, 2.5 seems good.
2.5 seems really good. It was a kinder, gentler pod this week. Mm-hmm. No tears, no yelling.
We'll find more villains. Don't worry.
Oh no, villains are just you wait.
I mean, the
we
world's
wanted
full
to
of
give
villains.
you guys a little bit of a break.
And us too. Like that was intense.
It was hard.
Rudy was hard too. Like we've had some heavy hitters this season. Henry VIII was hard.
Now they're coming back. Coming back. We got more.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another week of Trashy Divorces.
We appreciate you. We will see you next week. We will talk to you next week.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next week with another fresh episode of Trash Bag Sunday.
And
Candy
if you just need more of us, seriously, find us on social.
At Trashy Divorces on the Twitter, on the Insta, on the Facebook.
Mm-hmm. True.
You can send us an email to trashydivorces@gmail.com too. Mm-hmm. We want to hear your trashy divorce story.
All right. Anyway, thanks so much. Next week, we'll be back.
Go forth. Be trashy. Stay single. Don't get married. I don't know. We're going to figure it out.
Maybe. Bye. Trashy Divorces is brought to you by Hemlock Creatives.
Our music is by the extra super fabulous Ratsy. Check out her store at Ratsy's store on Instagram. Our art is by the amazing Sydney Smith. Visit her portfolio at sydneyvsmith.carbonmade.com.
Learn more at trashydivorces.com. Join our Trashy Divorces Facebook group and follow us at Trashy Divorces on Twitter, Instagram, and we have a YouTube.
And if you're enjoying the pod, tell a friend. It really helps us, and let's face it, your friends will like you better for it.
Almost certainly.
No, they may like you worse, but
they almost certainly will like you better.
It's trash candy. It's so much fun.